Okay, so we know how to find the area and perimeter of all the figures separately. So now we're going to find the area of composite figures. So a composite figure, I'm going to write the word composite in here, is made up of two or more shapes. We can find the area of a composite figure by adding or subtracting, like when we have to find the shaded area, or subtracting the area of each shape. So if we look at each of these 2D figures, what could be the various shapes in which they are composed? So like if you see the stop sign, this would be a rectangle here. We could split this stop sign right here, and that could be a trapezoid, a rectangle in the middle, another trapezoid, or we could erase those and we could split them that way with the same figures. Let's see here. Or could we even do, let me see what that does. That's not going to work. Anyway, then we got, right here we'd have a trapezoid, we'd have a rectangle. You have some trapezoids in here. No, that would be a parallelogram. No, trapezoid. Okay. Then here you can see the rectangles, the big rectangle. So most figures are comprised of more than one figure. So we're going to decompose these figures below. And so you would draw a line to help yourself. So the first one is I'm going to draw a line here because then I notice I have a triangle, and I'm just going to write the shape triangle. And I know that formula is base times height divided by 2. So I have the base is 9, because if this is 9, then I know that that's 9. So I have 9 times, and then the height, you got to figure it out. If the whole thing is 12 and this part is 8, then you know from here to here is 4. So you got 9 times 4 divided by 2. So 36 divided by 2 is 18 feet squared. So the second shape would be a rectangle, and we know that is base times height. And so we have 8 by 9. So 8 times 9 is 72. And then we add those two together, 72 and 18, and we get 90 feet squared because it's area. That one is pretty cut and dry. I don't know how else you could split up that shape. Some shapes you're going to split up differently than other people. This one, if I draw a line here, I'm going to get a rectangle and a triangle. So the first shape is a rectangle, and I know it's a 15 by 9. So it's base times height, 15 by 9, and that gets 135. The other shape is a triangle. Put the triangle. It's base times height divided by 2. So if I plug the values in, this right here I know is 15 because of that 15. The height is 5. So 15 times 5. Then I'm going to divide by 2. So I get 37.5. When I add those two together, I get 172.5 meters squared. Okay. And again, always pause it or rewatch it if you're confused. So a composite figure also includes overlapping shapes. So basically, like when we have the shaded area that we're trying to find. So for this one, if you were going to describe the process for finding the area of the shaded region, why don't you pause it and say what you would say? Find area of rectangle, then subtract the area of the and I probably won't spell it right, parallelogram. You have to, I always say you have to cut it out or punch it out. So we're going to practice finding the shaded regions on these. So the first thing we're going to do is find the area of the the big figure, which is a trapezoid. So we're going to do base plus base divided by 2 times the height. So that would be, let's see here, that would be 25 times, so that's going to be 100. I hope I'm doing that right. And then we find the area of this, and that's going to be 7 times 5, which is 35. So we're going to do 100 minus 35, and that equals 65 inches squared is what the shaded region is. Okay, number 2, it says a patio is being landscaped. That means like putting trees and shrubs and flowers and all that on there with trees and shrubs. How many square feet, that's area, of landscaping will be around the patio? So kind of think about that and look at the picture and read it again, because even I'm doing that myself to digest what it says. So the patio right here is being landscaped with trees and shrubs, this part here. They want to know what the area is of the landscaping around the patio. So we only want this part. So we have to get rid of the patio part. So you can pause it and see what you come up with. And there's different ways to do it. I'm seeing this rectangle here as, let me get my drawing, as 8 by 14. So I'm thinking 14 times 8 is 112. And then the other one is 14 by 8. So we have another 112. So that would be 224. But we need to get rid of this part. So we need to find the area of that. It's in the shape of a rectangle. I know that if this whole thing is 8, and if this part is 3, that leaves 5 left over here. So the patio's length there is 5. And then for the one going horizontal, I know that this whole thing is 14. And if this part is 3, I'm going to subtract that. So this part is 11. So the patio is 11 by 5, which is 55. So I'm going to minus 55 out of here. And I'm going to get not what the answer key says. Well, the answer key said be around the patio. The answer key says 114. So what did I do wrong? I'm going to pause it and think about it. Okay, I have figured out what I did wrong. And I kind of suspected this. When I did the 2 different landscapes, the 8 by 14, I basically counted this area twice. So I'm going to erase all that. And what I see now is if I draw a line here, I'm cutting this figure, and I'm going to do 14 by 3 to get this space right here. So 14 times 3, which is 42. Okay, and then I need this little spot, and that would be 3 by, now it looks like it would be 3, but if the whole thing is 8, and this part is 3 because of this side, then I still have 5 left over here. That's why you never go by the drawings. So I have 3 by 5, which is 15. And so far those two added together are 57. And then I'm going to have all the numbers are the same, so I'm going to have exactly the same over here. So I just add those two together, and I get the 114, like the answer key said. So on this one, you didn't really need to find the patio and subtract it. I just found the area of each of these by splitting them up into rectangles. That's a tricky one. Okay, number 3. A composite figure is created using a square and a semicircle. What is the area of the figure? So if it's a square, you know that this side is 12 also. So 12 times 12, or 12 squared, is 144. And if this is 12, then we know that that's 12, which is the diameter. So half of that is 6. So we need to do 3.14 times 6 squared for pi r squared. And so I don't have a calculator handy, but 36 times 3.14. Then we're going to divide it by 2 because it's a half circle. And then we're going to add it to 144. And you should come up with 200.52 inches squared. Last one, find the area of the shaded region. So again, you can do two different things. You could find the area of this square, which is 81, and then take out the area of the triangle, or you could find the area of each of the darker triangles separately. I don't think it really matters. So I'm going to do the area of the whole thing is 81, 9 times 9, and then I'm going to find the area of this and subtract it out. So we have base is 9 times the height is going to be 9 divided by 2. So 81 divided by 2 is, let's see here, 40.5. And so we do 81 minus 40.5 to minus the white part out. So you get 40.5 meters squared as your answer. Okay, so you go ahead and work on the homework for that lesson.